So this right behind me is the Moses Cone Flattop Manor. It's this big, beautiful mansion built in 1901 to house the Cone family. And they have 3,500 acres of what is essentially historic space and nature preserve. So today we're gonna go check it out, see what we can find, see if there's anything we can paint. I think I'm just gonna bring some gouache with me and a little sketchbook and see if maybe we can get one or two paintings. Might just end up being one, but two would be nice. They're not gonna be big, just little small sketches. And I'm excited to see what we find. This is the practice of plein air painting. We're going outside, we're gonna try and find something to paint, anything. And we can fall into a couple of different pitfalls. The first one is to literally just paint the first thing that we see. Generally, if we do this, we might find ourselves uninspired and stop halfway through. But the second pitfall is to end up not deciding to paint anything at all. And so we really need to sensitize ourselves to a little part of our gut that just finds things interesting. And this is probably almost the most important meta skill that we can really cultivate within ourselves. Because you're not looking for a painting that's cool. If you're looking for a cool painting, you're just never gonna find one. And you're gonna come up with something that you think other people will like. But if you've cultivated the sense of just interest and fascination, and you know what that feeling is, and you become sensitive to it, then whatever you find interesting, that's the thing that you can communicate best about. And so we want to do that. We want to go out and really just find out what is it that speaks to me. And even if we don't make a good painting from it, the practice is there, and that is what is inspiring. And that's what pulls us forward. But I've never made a good painting from something that I think, oh, I think someone else is going to like this. It's all about me, only because if I resonate with it, then I can communicate about it. That's what we're looking for. So when I was in high school, my family moved to this little mountain town in Australia called Valle. Absolutely gorgeous, but it's like just green everywhere, which is a little bit rare for Australia. Australia is kind of brown in general. But we've got this like mountain green, everything's a little overgrown, everything's a little, and I absolutely love this. So I'm not sure, I think this would take a larger painting than I'm ready to commit to today to really make work, because it's not relying necessarily on really big shapes. There's a lot of the ground cover, which is soft and gentle, and I would want to communicate that. And I don't think I can do that very successfully in a small amount of time, in a little sketch. So we'll keep moving, but maybe we'll come back here. Oh gosh. So I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. There's this really old fence coming across here. Some really kind of just big massed trees. And then over this way, really light fields. I love this, but I think this is gonna work better when there's a bit more light. Right now it's pretty overcast. So I think what I'm gonna do is head into the forest and find something that isn't going to sort of worry so much if the sun comes out and then goes away and comes out and goes away. Something that is just perpetually in shade. I think that's gonna be my first thing. And if the light comes out later, we can come over here and just see this absolutely beautiful scene. Look at this. All right, let's go into the forest. Finally getting to some forested area. I just love the moss, I love the ferns, I love the giant trees everywhere. It's beautiful. All right, you guys ready for this? Sometimes they say that painting is like love. Sometimes it can slowly creep up on you, and sometimes it slaps you in the face. Look at this one. That right there, my friends, that is a painting waiting to happen. And the reason is there's just massive, beautiful shapes. There's clarity in everything that's going on here. Even though we're in the forest, even though things are, there's not a high degree of contrast, which is the difference between how light something gets and how dark it gets compared to if it was in the sunlight. This is beautiful. It speaks on its own. I don't think everybody understands yet that to make a good painting, sometimes the difference between someone who is kind of on an amateur level. And I don't say that with any disrespect. But sometimes the difference between somebody who's at an amateur level and sometimes someone who is kind of maybe at a more professional level is that the people who are at a professional level just start with better material. This is better material. All right, friends, this is a little bit embarrassing, but it's actually highlighting something that this whole travel on the road and painting thing has really started to make clear. And that is that I need a level of organization that I just didn't need when I was at home. And what I mean is that today I missed my palette. It didn't come with me. And it's okay, we're gonna do this one. Before we go out to those fields and do anything out there, we need to organize my art stuff. I'm gonna take you guys with me and show you what I've done so far to pare everything down into a really efficient, or at least what I thought was a very efficient method of just keeping everything at the bare minimum so we can travel and just paint full time. But we're gonna need some help. It's okay though. Today I'm gonna use a little random piece of plastic that I have as my palette. And so again, this probably isn't gonna be a really long painting, though hopefully it still ends up beautiful. If it's anything like this, it'll be all right, it'll be all right. But yeah, let's get started painting and then we can go organize some stuff. So here's my palette. It seems a touch trashy, but here we are. Doing good, how are you doing? Good. Thank you. All right, there we go. So before we go to our next painting, let's head on back to the studio and see what we mean by studio when we're traveling full time. So let me show you my office. And so this is it. This is the studio. When we left South Carolina, what I really needed to do was pare everything down into the smallest version of what I actually needed, right? Without making compromises in terms of the kind of paint quality, without making compromises in terms of actually having what I need. But if I need it, can we get the smallest version? Can we get the most compact version so we can take it with us on the road around the States and go traveling? And so yes, everything I have essentially just fits in this box. I'm gonna take you through some of it, and then we're gonna figure out how to make sure I actually bring my stuff with me when I need to go. And here it is. And while I'm sure that everything we have in here, there's gonna be a better way of doing this. For now, this is what we got. We have an umbrella for sunny days. This thing is amazing. It has tent poles, it goes straight into the ground. It does not blow over on a windy day, and I absolutely love it. Over here we have essentially all of my painting surfaces. So these are canvas. This is Belgian linen that's been primed. On the back, we actually have some beaver film. Beaver film, it uses heat in order to attach itself. And so what this means is this is two things. One is that when I sell this, I can actually attach this onto a panel, onto something, make it really nice and sturdy. but also it makes it sturdy while I'm painting. If we just go straight onto the canvas normally when we're painting, it's going to wrinkle while we're painting. It's really distracting. And so just the addition of this film on the back, the shiny stuff, makes it so that it really actually stands firm. It's gonna be just enough. But what that means is that I actually have over 60 paintings worth of canvas sitting right there, which in any other fashion, I really wouldn't have been able to make it work. I also have this for finished paintings. I can put it in there and put it inside these sleeves, and that means it's not going to get destroyed. Also got some paper to paint onto. So anything that I want to keep really fresh and nice right there, it's gonna work. Over on this side, I've got my oil palette, my gouache and watercolor palettes. We have this little mini palette here for going into restaurants and painting. It's nice and discreet. And sketchbooks. Over here we've got tape, everything that we need to frame, my framing supplies. I've got some gesso and any mediums that I might want to use. I've got my gouache paints and my oil paints and brushes. I also have this, which I can put my paintings into to dry, right? And so they can go in there, they can dry and not get knocked around and everything. And that leaves us with the last conundrum. How do I make sure that I actually am able to take everything with me? I have a bag for gouache. This has all my essential gouache stuff in it. Anything that I need, it's gonna be here. I can just pick it up and take it and know that I have absolutely everything I need, even if maybe some of the more fancy stuff gets left. And here is my oil painting bag. Exactly the same. I have one really cool addition that I like, which is this. It's a paint roll. And I get to put all of my basic oil paints in here so they're not loose in my bag, unroll it, and they're ready to use, roll it back up again, and off we go. So with that being said, off we go. Let's head back to the manor and try to find a second painting, probably in all those fields. Let's head on out. All right, so I think I'm just about ready to paint. There's this absolutely stunning view of the mountains right here. And I've always painted mountains essentially from photos, right? And gosh, nothing is the same in photos as it is in real life. We could talk about that another time, another day. But I am so excited just to get this in. And it might not be any good, but it's gonna feel good, right? Even failures are just successes waiting to happen. Here, come, let's have a look. Let's have a look. So this is what I'm getting. I think I might stand up. I also might go stand somewhere a little slightly bit more shade. But we're gonna get this big mountain here. It's gonna be bigger in the painting than it is on the video. And this is just one of the this is why we're doing this, right? Why we're traveling, because a home is great. South Carolina was nice, but being able to go to all of these different places with just completely different landscapes, this is what it's about. I'm so excited. a whole bunch of clouds again, and so I can't keep painting things as they are, even though this would just make an absolutely beautiful painting itself. Look at that. Giant clouds. I would absolutely make this a painting if I was to start right now. But such is the life of a landscape painter, right? Constantly changing. So we're gonna call that a day for today and head home. So we made it to Valle Crucis, and what I want to show you is the Master General Store. This is the original Master General Store. If you're not American, you probably don't know what this is. And it is the quintessential Appalachian Americana store, which just means everything is incredibly old and, dare I say, almost useless, but it has great candy. And so we're gonna have a little look at this. If you're not American, this might blow your mind a little bit. It certainly did mine when I first got here. So we're headed into the Mass General Store today to see if we can find anything interesting to paint. And I can tell you there is a lot of interesting stuff in here. On our tour around the United States, I want to try and find the places, the people, and the foods that are inherently local to the area and paint them in order to gain some kind of insight into what makes that place tick. And this seems like a great place to start. Well, I don't think I've found a place that I'd be comfortable setting up to paint here. It's a little bit crowded, there's a little much going on, and I'm sure they don't want me in their way. So we're gonna head on out. But first we're gonna talk to the clerk. And it absolutely would not be your classic American general store if it wasn't trying to sell you weapons at some point. And it turns out this is that point. So I just finished talking to the clerk at the store, and they said that there's this beautiful place just down the road where people put their canoes in and just go down the stream. So we're gonna go there, see if it's a good place to paint. All right, so we're all set up. This is what I decided on working on today. This big, beautiful scene. It just feels like this is a valley river, valley waters, right? And got some mountains to the sides. They're not huge right now, but I just really love this composition. There's the big light shape, got the water running through, and just really big shapes going in, which in a way is gonna help the painting to kind of paint itself. Not that it won't be really difficult. And I also recently got these Egbert brushes. Egbert is kind of like a filbert, but longer. And yeah, just lots and lots of brush right here to soak up the paint, throw it down. I really love the feeling of that. I haven't tried these sizes yet, which is why I got them, but we're gonna give it a go and I'll let you know how it feels. My main goal at this point is just to get some really big shapes. One thing that I really like about this is that there's a whole bunch of shadows sitting right up here, a whole bunch of light sitting right here. And I think that's gonna work well together. getting this water in here is probably going to be the most interesting part for me right now. It's something that I feel like I could do a lot of growing in. It's getting the feel of the water. So what I've been trying to do is just simplify to a far greater degree than I normally do, and then come back in. And I know this is an obvious answer, right? This is everyone's answer, but to put it actually in practice and to feel comfortable in the practice, now that, my friend, is very difficult. And we're gonna see, I've painted really thin so far so that I can come up with some really strong paint strokes that'll just sit right over the top, because I think that'll get the feel. And I don't know if you could see it as strongly as I can. It's just like little paint strokes absolutely everywhere. So we're gonna give that a go. So we're getting to the point in the process where the light in real life is completely different to where it started out when I started the painting. At this point, I have a couple of options. I can either start painting the painting just for its own sake without looking at what I'm seeing in front of me, or I can come back another day. And I haven't decided exactly which one of those two it is yet, but I've learned a lot and I've really enjoyed this time. Boone has been absolutely amazing. I love this little mountain country town, and it's been really, really fun. I can't wait to see what our next leg of the journey brings us. At the end of the day, we're just gonna spend our times traveling, painting, and teaching. If you wanna learn how to paint, feel free to follow the links below to my courses, or sign up for one of my in-person workshops, or just let me know where you are if you want me to come and teach at your location.